Hello! It has been waist week over here at the Bridal Sewing Cottage. And before we talk specifically about how to keep these gowns from slipping down, let's first talk about the different lengths of waists, just to make sure we're on the same page. This will only take a minute and then we'll dive right into the sewing, okay? Regardless of body size, shape, weight, whatever, everyone has a length of waist. So we're just going to say, for the sake of this video, we're not talking about body type or weight at all. We're only specifically talking about the length of waist. And we're going to say, specifically for the sake of alterations, that in this video we're going to be talking about the mid-waisted length being whatever length of waist the manufacturer has used for the fit model for designing the dress that you're altering. That means if a bride's length of waist matches the length of waist of the dress will sit on her waist naturally, and the bust is also sitting in the right place, and the hip is also sitting in the right place. So her length of waist matches the length of waist for the fit model for that style dress. We're going to call that mid-waisted. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. So to go from there, we would say a bride whose waist length is shorter than that mid-waisted length, we're going to say that she's shorter waisted. For a bride whose waist is any longer in measurement than that mid-waisted length, we're going to say she's longer waisted or long waisted. Earlier this week, I did some live streams and I was talking about a couple of different ways. I showed two very common ways of shortening the waist of a gown for all of those many short-waisted, beautiful brides out there. But today we're talking about brides who have a longer waist and their dress just keeps slipping down on them. How are we going to do that alteration to stop the dress from slipping? There's several different ways you can do this as well, but this is one of the most common ways. I do have some other videos on the other ways, but this way works super, super well. We're going to put a waist stay in here. We're going to lengthen the boning. So essentially, we're going to make the structure of the dress, that inner structure of the waist, match the length of the waist of your long-waisted bride. If that doesn't make sense, just ride along with me. I promise it will. Just give it a little time. Here we go. We're going to start with measuring the inside of the gown. So I'm just going to go from zipper to zipper or zipper to the center front. That's what I'm demonstrating here. It's a little bit easier, I find. Just go to the center front and then double that number. There's lots of different types of boning, but for a polyester sew-through boning, my favorite brand is Ridgeline. I feel like the brand does matter. To make the stay, you can use a heavy satin ribbon or a Petersham. My favorite is the Petersham. It just kind of goes with the curves just a little bit better. It's very supportive. So that's what we'll be using here. I actually marked the center front of this waist stay, the Petersham, by just folding it in two and ironing it. And then I folded it again and pressed it again to get these other two lines. They correspond with some of the other sticks of boning that are in the bodice. And then we are also going to align the side seam boning as well. What I'm going to do right now is just freshen up this Petersham and do a double roll here on the end so that I can stitch that down and it won't be fraying or anything. This is going to be the back part of the stay. It's going to hook kind of like, think of a bra hook. It's going to come around to the back and hook, but instead of using the hooks and eyes, I'm going to use Pant Slides. I feel like they're a little bit stronger. They last a little bit better. So that's what I prefer to use, but you can also terminate these with some elastic to give it a little bit of spring if the Petersham is just too stiff and unforgiving for the comfort of your bride. And then you can also just sew in the strips of the hook and eye Here I am just getting this lined up, and I'm going to start cutting the Ridgeline into segments. You can measure them out if you want, or I like to cut the first one, the known length that I want, which is essentially, usually I go up about 4 inches that I'm going to double stack over the boning that's in the bodice, and then it's going to come down usually another 3 or 4 inches. For this dress, I picked about 3 inches. So that's what's getting us to this roughly 6-inch length. And then I just use my first cut to make sure they're all the same length. I'm stacking them. If you lay the bottom blade of the scissor along your hand when you shut the blades, you're not going to cut yourself. So that's what I was doing there. Now I need to cap these bones, and I just usually like to use a type of polyester or a synthetic that when I cap it, I can heat seal it together. That's what this is. I have this lovely little stack. This is not the color I like though. This is going to be on the inside of her dress. It will be seen. So I decided to do some color matching, and rather than using the fabric swatches like I showed you that I most often use, I used some segment of ribbon that matches the lining of her dress. So we're going to use a satin ivory ribbon, and we're going to cut those to length, usually maybe about 1 inch or so long, and sew those in, heat seal them, and then they're going to look nice. Now I'm going to sew the sticks of boning onto the waiststay, and you can sew them on in any order you want. You can start from center front and work your way out, work left to right. It doesn't really matter. I like to work from center front, the ones beside it, and then hold it up in the dress and mark again where the side seams are, because it is very important, I feel, for the boning, the upper pieces to align nicely with the boning that's in the bodice. And you'll see that in a minute. It'll be a little bit more clear to you. But don't forget, you're going to want about 3 inches or so coming down from where the waist of the dress is, because that's going to be your new waist support. Just follow along here and see how I do this, and then you'll see how I add my second length of stay. underneath this main waist stay just to stabilize things so that these bones aren't going wonky. The top part of the bones, remember, they're going to be lashed to the original boning, but the bottom bones have really nothing to stabilize them. Even if you tack them to the lining of the dress, a lot of times that's a little more loose, so there's nothing to keep them from going wayward. So you'll see that's why I'm adding that second length of ribbon underneath this waist stay. And that can go from side seam to side seam. It can also go all the way around. It can also go from side seam to side seam and then tip up into the waist stay. You'll see that as well. So be on the lookout for all of those details. I'm just going to let you watch me sew for a little bit. This kind of boning can be a little bit scratchy, so I'm going to just make sure I double cover just for extra strength and also for comfort. Now, you can definitely wrap these or channel them, however you want to do it, so that the boning is encased and not touching the bride's skin. The problem is her dress is very sensitive to any type of imprinting from what's going on the inside. So just doubling up along the waist is about all it could tolerate. I was actually kind of concerned even about the boning caps. I do have a video on doing the low profile boning caps if you want to look into that. But I really felt like encasing each of these bones was going to be too heavy for the thickness of her bodice, and it would show. So this is what was best for her, and it's not uncomfortable. So I just kind of doubled up the Petersham on both sides of these so that there was no boning rubbing against her where the pressure of the waist stay was. And I'll do this really quickly as well for you to watch. Finally, here's the moment that's going to bring it all together for you. This is how we place it inside the dress. We're going to really lash that boning down, and there it is feeding into the lining layer of the skirt, which you can take in a little bit as well to give it a little more support. If you want to see how to hand sew this in, which is what we do, we just hand sew it with upholstery thread, a good stout thread. If you want to see that, definitely check out my other live streams that I did. I show you at least 3 different ways to hand sew boning into a dress. Remember, this is a series this week. I'm going to link to it in the comments and also the video description. Now, these are the slides that I was talking about and the way that we sewed them in. Finally, we put in a couple of these pant slides and we made it where there's 3 different size choices for her. Don't forget, hit subscribe so you don't lose track of me.